Hey, what's going on, guys? This is AndrewChicken, and welcome back to another video. Octavia is the next champion coming to Paladins, and I want to be the first person to make a guide on her. So, after playing around with her for a little bit, I've decided to give you guys my tips and tricks, as well as a pretty decent loadout that I've been running, to hopefully help you get into Octavia, the brand new champion. She is really cool, and I'm really excited to make this guide, so yeah, I guess let's just not waste any time. Let's go ahead and get right into the video. So, let's go ahead and hop into the shooting range here, which, by the way, I don't know if you guys noticed, but they did actually do a bit of a graphics update this patch. They revamped the shooting range, and they also made a lot of the textures a lot more crisp, did a really good job reworking the models. So yeah, they did a lot of good work on the graphics here, so yeah, good job, Hi-Rez. Keep up the good work. I really like what you're doing with this. Looks beautiful. Love how this game looks. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive into Octavia, kind of take a look at her kit, and then I'll give you guys a nice loadout guide of just kind of my day zero impressions of what a good loadout should be. So yeah, her primary fire is her rifle, which basically is sort of a semi-automatic thing. It fires relatively fast. Think about Leon's rifle, how it currently is, and then just give it a little bit more damage, but then you don't have the burst combos of Leon. So kind of just Leon's primary fire, basically. So yeah, if we do this, relatively fast firing, not very accurate when you're not scoped in. I mean, look, we kind of missed a bunch of shots on that Victor over there. Like, we missed that one, we missed that one, hit that one, hit that one, hit that one, missed that one. So yeah, not the most accurate thing in the world when you're not scoped in, but when you do scope in, oh, look at that. Look at that accuracy. And you're going to do about 500 damage per shot. We do have a little bit of fall off at this range, but if you do hit those juicy headshots, I mean, look at the big damage. Look at the damage numbers. It's insane. So, yeah, pretty powerful rifle. It has about, well, a little bit over 10 ammo. I can't remember if I put an ammo card in or not, but yeah, roughly like 12 to 15, I'd say. So, yeah, you just pump some damage into these guys. Pretty nice, pretty simple. Pretty straightforward. But what's not straightforward is her movement ability and her scope combination. So, yeah, before we use her movement ability, you can see, if we actually just, like, jump and then do this, we'll kind of float in midair for a second. We'll be able to, like, shoot at those guys. So if we do it again, do that, and yeah, we just sort of hover in the air for 2.5 seconds. Now, obviously, that's not very effective to use if you just jump. But when you use her movement ability, which is just a massive leap, and then do it, suddenly, yeah, you've got a really nice vantage point over pretty much everything. Of course, you do want to be careful when using this because she might have the same problem as Drogo's does, where, you know, you fly up into the sky and you're not using cover at all. You're just a giant target that people can really easily hit. And since you are stationary, you're going to be a sitting duck for snipers. So you're going to have to get the edge on them, kind of burst them down before they can burst you down. But it's still a really powerful way to, like, get some high grounds. Like, if you use this statue for cover, then you can see, yeah, real nice. Harder for me to get hit, but I can still hit those guys that I wouldn't really be able to easily hit otherwise. So, really nice. And yeah, we can also talk about her sort of deflection field, which is basically, you get this area around you, where if you stand inside of it, the enemies won't be able to see you. So, this is really helpful. Now, you're not invisible, technically speaking, so Illuminate doesn't counter it. It just sort of makes it so that while you're standing inside of the zone, the bad guys can't see you. They can't see inside of the zone, and if they're inside of the zone, they can't see outside of the zone. So that's kind of how this works. But you can see, like, can't really see me. Can't really see me. And they wouldn't be able to see me either. You can still shoot in and out of the zone, and yeah, it just expired there. It only lasts for a few seconds, and it has a pretty lengthy cooldown. But while you're inside of it, you can still shoot through. So if we go ahead and use it again, you can see, like, they could still hit me right now if they wanted to, but I can move around, shoot through the zone, and still do damage to those guys, and they're going to have a harder time tracking me as a result. So, yeah, but it doesn't get countered by Illuminate. I think it does get countered by Reveals, but not Illuminate, so do bear that one in mind. If you're going against an Octavia, Illuminate's not the way to go. And lastly, let's go ahead and talk about Octavia's ultimate. So Octavia's ultimate is one of the cooler ultimates they've released in a while. I wouldn't say it's as cool as Yaggroth's ultimate, but it's still really cool. So it's kind of like Victor's Barrage, but different. She calls in basically a strike from space. She calls in like this giant laser beam thing. And currently I'm running the talent where it does more damage and it also roots people in place. You won't be able to see it rooting these guys, these Victors, because they don't move already. They're just bots that you can shoot. But yeah, you can still just do this, cast the ultimate, and well, bam! big photon strike from the sky. It's really, really cool. And it does gobs of damage with this talent, because the talent makes it do almost 50% more damage. I mean, it's crazy. On top of the root, you're going to be doing tons of damage to these guys, and it has a pretty, substantial area of effect, too. We didn't hit this guy all the way over here, but, yeah. Well, let me... There we go. Step back out into the center so we can get the ult charge again, and then... He's gone! So, really powerful ultimate. I love the visual effects they did for this ultimate. It is super fantastic. I mean, just look at it. Giant photon strike from the sky! How awesome is that? Really, really cool. Really nice job. Just a fantastic ult. And it's useful for kind of like sowing sort of chaos and confusion onto an objective. And yeah, all in all, I mean, pretty helpful. I wouldn't say it's the best ultimate in the game, but it's still pretty powerful, pretty nice. Better than a flashbang, I guess. Freaking Strix, man. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about her loadout here. So this is kind of my day 0 loadout for Octavia, which also, by the way, along with the graphics update, they did do a UI update. So you've got a really much more sophisticated looking UI here. It'll show you kind of like the changes to your different stats and stuff like that. It shows you your name, which I think is really cool. And yeah, so one of the cards I really like to use here is this one, which increases the duration of your invisibility sort of field. It's not really, I shouldn't call it an invisibility field, but yeah, it basically increases the duration of your dome. Really powerful card to have. I really like using this one because, I mean, the longer you can obscure, the enemy's vision and make it so they can't really see where you are, the better. That's pretty nice. So I really, really like this card. And I also like these two cards, which both help to basically increase the range of your dome, and it also makes her jump go a bit farther. So I think that's really cool. Sort of helpful. Really helpful cards, kind of work well together. And I definitely recommend putting at least a few loadout points into these cards, because they're just nice. And yeah, we also got some filler cards here. These cards aren't really too important in an Octavia loadout, but this one, right here, bread and butter of this loadout. I mean, if this one wasn't here, I guess how we can describe this analogy, this is the bread, this is the butter. So, you put these two cards in, you're going to have your obscuring dome thing up a lot. I mean, you're going to have it every few seconds, and it's going to last for a few seconds. A lot of uptime on this. So what this card basically does is it makes it so you can spam out your dome a lot more. Kind of reduces the cooldown in that sense. Like it makes it so you can spam them more. And the more obscuring domes, the better. And it also, helps with the cooldown reduction for your leap as well. And of course, you don't really have cooldown reduction on like your ultimate or your scope at all. But for those two abilities, highly recommend this card at a pretty high amount of points in your loadout. I definitely recommend investing into this card if you can. Really, really nice. And yeah, you could also go for like the weaker version of the card, which is right here. So yeah, I mean, you could go for this card if you wanted to. If you don't want to invest that many loadout points in, you want to voice loadout points maybe into some of your other fillers, maybe to make your abilities stronger, I don't know. I mean, that's perfectly up to you. But this is what I use for Octavia, and I think it's a pretty helpful loadout overall. I mean, I just think it's pretty nice. So yeah, that about wraps up the Octavia guide. I mean, this is kind of my day 0 impressions, so yeah, if they change Octavia in any way, or we learn some new tech for her, I might have to make an update to this guide in the future, but for now, this should do just kind of an overview of Octavia, what her loadout should be, and yeah, just some general tips and advice for Octavia. So I hope you guys have... yeah, I made a Warframe video. So, yeah, I heard the name Octavia coming to Paladins. I could not help but think that, yeah, couldn't help but think of this Warframe from Warframe, Octavia. She also got a Prime recently, which I think is kind of funny. Warframe gets a new Octavia update, and Paladins gets an update with a champion called Octavia. It's just too perfect. I couldn't make a video, or I couldn't not make a video on this. I would use Octavia Prime if I had it, but I don't feel like grinding for Octavia Prime, so I'm not going to do it. But, yeah. I tried my best. To make Octavia and Warframe look like Octavia for Paladins. I tried to do the color scheme. It's really hard to make Space Ninjas look like a Magistrate Commander. I kind of tried to do like the color thing with the cloak. But it's really hard to like do the color scheme. And I tried to like get the sort of bronzes metal but that didn't really work either. It's really hard to make Warframes look like Paladins champions. It's really, really hard. But the Latron wasn't that hard to make look like Octavia's gun, because it kind of already looks like it already, minus the scope. And it also fires like it too, so it was just perfect. I mean, there's this, Octavia's primary fire. There's a Warframe named Octavia, which has an ability that obscures her, so that enemies can't see her. We got Vauban, however you're supposed to pronounce that, which does have the, which does have that orbital strike thing. I love it. So, yeah, I couldn't help but make a video on this. So, yeah, bit of a prank. But, yeah. I don't know. It was kind of silly. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload from me. I will be making a lot of Octavia content once the PTS comes out. Currently it's not out, unfortunately, but when it does come out, stay tuned for Octavia content, because we will be making a lot of that. And yeah, also, if you haven't already, make sure to check out the Discord server linked in the description. Check out the Twitch channel, because I do stream there pretty regularly. And yeah, also lastly, huge shout out to the members of the channel for helping to support what I do. If you want to help support the channel and unlock some cool new emojis and an exclusive role in the Discord server, then just click the join button right next to the subscribe button. Anyways, I will see you all next time. Peace out.